I guess it's prime opportunity for Principal Barrel to make an appearance, huh? It is time for some more Old Country Bumpkin. If you want to keep seeing videos on the channel, make sure you leave a like, share, support, subscribe, ring that bell if you haven't already. Patreon is where you can catch my full live reactions either way. And if you do hype the video on the YouTube mobile app, it does help push it to more people, which potentially might make it so these videos do well enough to keep it coming. But got a bad suspicion it won't. Well, let's check out another episode of a very great anime, if not underappreciated. Who's the old man that he's gonna see himself in? Must have been a spicy night if he went balls deep into it. Misunderstood that title for a second. Anyway, carrying on. Yo, the hater. The dude who talked mad shit. I don't think there's much we can do for bro. Bro straight up was Barrel. Come on. It took him a minute and a half to realize bro was bleeding out. We love our Old Country Bumpkin, don't we? Like, some people will criticize that as an example, right? Because, oh my god, I can see that he's 3D. But it's the fact that you actually have real sprinting. I don't know, man. I just can't relate. See, I thought we were going to just, like, carry it off or something. And, like, maybe, like, bash it into the ground. I guess that was too savage for these kids. Well, that worked. The fact that if you actually go frame by frame with the animation, all of his parries are actually lining up is insane. Like, most people aren't going to go frame by frame like me. But the fact that if you do, it proves why everything looks so realistic, because it's actually connecting. Oh, quickly hit it before it regenerates. There we go. Nice. Yeah, generally you probably shouldn't do that underneath a school. Wait, but we did. Can we just go over the disrespect this show gets? And it's happened since season 1, and it's fine. But especially after seeing this latest episode, I'm actually kind of baffled that I'll still get comments. And it's like, you know how any anime fan, they watch more than 1 or 2 anime a season. So sometimes they'll be like, oh man, this show's 3D is so much better than X show's 3D. And I get it to a degree if you're just looking at it at face value. Yeah, sometimes you can tell the characters are 3D modeled. But what I've never understood about the almost disrespectful hate this show can get is people act like so many shows per season, when this show airs, both with season 1 and now season 2, are better 3D than this. And I full-heartedly disagree. You want to know why the swordplay in this show looks as realistic as it does? And I realized it when I went frame by frame in this very scene. So in this moment, there's a bunch of projectiles coming his way, and what he's doing is he's obviously using his sword to parry and deflect, right? The fact that if you actually go frame by frame in this very scene, every single attack is perfectly parried. And your average fan's gonna be like, why does that matter? Because most anime, and I explained it last week, the sword play is just random swinging. And then insert special effect, explosion, spark effect. But if you go frame by frame in those shows, you realize nothing's really connecting. It's just a lot of moving parts, but because there's so much flash happening, your brain fills in the gaps and in your head makes it look better than it is. The reason why, yes, you can tell these are 3D character models, but it actually feels like there's real weight behind the swings is because things actually make sense. The blades and the fists are connecting in a way that makes sense. So when I get comments on shows where flash-wise, I get it to a degree, but you're saying that, man, it's so much better, I feel like I'm getting slapped in the face and I didn't even work on this show, because no, I still fully believe this is one of the best 3D productions. It's not always 3D, but the action is 3D, yes. Barrow's out here fucking fighting for his life. I mean, barely anyone, no pun intended, wants to watch this show. But to those who do, we need to give it our full respect. Yes, it is fully okay to criticize that you can notice a character is 3D at times, but the actual 3D movements are fucking amazing. And honestly, you gotta give props as well. They had to seal a big old pupper down below because no one could destroy its core. He did. Now, he's giving credit to his sword, which of course he will, but something tells me it's the Master Swordsman strike that really is why it happened the way it did. They also have a very interesting topic about aging in this episode. So we know from the beginning of the show, the reason he puts himself down is because he considers himself Anki's middle age. He's past his prime, right? Like, there's nowhere, but if he can maybe stay where he is at best. Bro's out here trying to find the secret to immortality and getting young again, because aging scares him. Yeah, he might have done some bad things, but hell, when the principal's out here putting the Cerberus beast down below chained up and vice principal's searching for immortality, I mean, I can't say the school faculty's given me much support in general, so I mean, I don't even blame Monk too bad. It's scary though, right? Aging is scary, and I think the fact that Beryl can almost relate to him in terms of that fear of aging, right? And I mean, Beryl still has half of his life ahead of him. Bro, you know, who knows, maybe a decade or two if he's really, really lucky in the world of magic. I like it. I like what they did and what it represented, because this show, whether or not you find Beryl's mantra of I'm too old to do anything annoying or not, there is consistent development with him slowly realizing that he's more. And if you look at it from a realistic point of view, which I think we should, given the realism to the actual swordplay, this is a character who hasn't been away from home all that long. Yeah, for us, we've watched him for 15 episodes now, something like that. And maybe you're like, I wish he would stop doubting in himself. But it's not like he doubts in himself and people always have to pick him up. Beryl, you can do it. No, he's just kind of like, yeah, I don't really believe in myself, but I'm fighting. I'm fighting for my life. Yeah, I'll do this teaching job. I don't really think I can do it. Even if he complains he can't do it, he always still does it. So it never, to me, feels like an eye roll worthy character. I'm interested because I feel like by the end of this season, we're going to get to a major point where he's going to start actually saying, maybe I do believe in myself. And maybe for some people that's too slow burn, that's too annoying, I don't know. But bro is facing off against some pretty impressive beasts while not believing in himself. Imagining what he could do when he does, it's going to be crazy. I do say, I think it was a cool concept because the miniature wolves that were supporting it, almost, they acted more similar to birds than they did wolves. Like, there was obviously the scene in the cafeteria where Mue and them were, like, fighting that one wolf, where it did feel like a wolf hunting its prey. But for the most part, these things were just flying around and honestly swarming us like birds, and I thought it was really cool. I will say, though, it is a pretty freaky thing where you're just a bunch of kids trying to have a little birthday party, and then this thing's, like, on top of the tables. I will say the way they ended up defeating it was pretty clever. I mean, to be honest, I thought the punchline was going to be that they defeat it, but because we defeated the king wolf, all the others disappeared, because basically they were establishing magic wasn't going to do shit against these things. It really was swordplay that was going to be needed. But eventually when you realize how everything's happening, it makes sense how they did it. But I think by like throwing the sheet over it, each of them stabbing their butter knives infused with magic into the corners of it to hold it in place, where you simultaneously burn it, electrocute it, freeze it, this, that, and the third, is a pretty clever way. But they got across like a genuine fear of them pretty well without them just immediately like rising to the occasion and just doing it because they had no fear. I thought it was great. And you also get some amazing characterization with Mue, who immediately admits that they are all friends. And when you look at her development over the show, right, I mean, she went from having literally nothing to having an adoptive father who loves her, some parental figures, kind of like a mentorship that she respects, and now a group of friends that legitimately have her back. This is a very feel-good show with some amazing sense of detail. But yeah, I do feel like it gets too much disrespect. It's one thing not liking it, but when I see it being used as an example of what not to do with 3D when other shows are being compared, take it a little personally, because this show is still some of the absolute best swordplay I've seen. Whether or not you like the look of a 3D character model, that's whatever. But when you it's kind of like when people don't like an art style and will label the animation bad. No, you don't like the art, but the animation's good. The 3D character model as a standstill is a art style. Yeah, you may not like that, but the actual movement is fucking godly. You know what I mean? I don't know. You let me know your thoughts down below. Probably going to be one of the last times we talk about it on the channel. Hell, maybe I'll say that for fucking 12 weeks. I don't know. But most shows just are not going to do well enough that are going to be worth talking about weekly. So this might become a show that we talk about every so often when there's a big enough moment to. But you can let me know if there's more demand. Leave a like, share your support, subscribe, ring that bell. But Patreon, either way, I will be covering this one every single week because it is one of my personal favorites. If you're already over on my Patreon, I'll give you a video shout out too, because my patrons are what make this YouTube channel possible. So today we got Hikari Lounge, Clasher, Sologaki, Subject 3, Sarnik, Demon 69C, and we also have Attack Owl. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. Have a good one.